Hi, welcome to Janil Hair Collection. In this video, I'll show you the do's and don'ts of feeding braids, especially if you're just starting out. When I first tried feeding braids, I thought I was doing everything right, but the result was very discouraging. It took me so many tries to figure out what I was doing wrong. So if that sounds like you, don't worry. Today, I'll be showing you exactly what I wish someone had shown me, the little things that makes a big difference. Okay, so before everything, moisturize the braid. It might seem small, but dry hair makes everything harder. I'll section it on the stand the way you're seeing, and the first 4 parts are thin, and then the next 6 I'll just double the size of the first 4. This is kind of confusing, but I do hope you can see it clearly. So the first 4 that I'll be feeding in is of the same size, and then the remaining 6 I'll just double the size of the first of the first 4. So don't forget, the first line will be messy, and the second one we're gonna correct everything. And of course, you need professional styling comb, but if you don't have one, a regular tail comb works too. And with this gel, less is more. Too much will weigh the hair down and makes your braids look messy. So just a little goes a long way. So don't confuse the styling gel and the braiding gel. They are two different things. The braiding gel, it just dissolves in the hair just like hair food. So I do hope you get it clearly. So here we go. So when it comes to braiding, these are the main character fingers that you're supposed to use when you're picking hair from the line, so that it will join the existing line that you're doing. So don't forget, this is the messy one that I'm going to begin with. I've just divided it into 3, and one thing I do love to begin with a very small section of braid so that the hairstyle will last longer, but you can still begin with your client's natural hair. So here we go. I'm gonna it's like you're doing braids, but when it comes to feed in, it's like you're doing braiding but on an existing line. So this is the hardest part. So I'm going to exchange my fingers the way you're seeing. So on this messy line, don't forget, I'm not putting no tension, okay, so that you guys can see if you're doing the mistakes, you can rectify the mistakes and you can do it perfectly. So this is the mistake number 1 that I'm doing. I'm feeding in the braid before picking the hair. So this is wrong, and it will end up showing on top of your line. So here we go. I'll braid 2 times before I feed in the next braid. Don't forget, I'm not putting no tension on this particular messy line. So you can see my second finger has received the hair, and here we go. When you feed in the braid, it should be tight, but in this case, I'm not tightening the braid at all, and at the same time, I'm not holding the hair and the braid at the same time. So that will make your line look messy and older. Okay, so here we go again. I feed in the next braid. I'll go 1 and 2. Now the second finger is gonna pick hair from the roots, and that is when you're supposed to feed it the braid. So no tension at all. So here we go, and I'm picking a big section of hair instead of small. And when you're feeding in braid, do not leave that particular braid behind, because it's gonna confuse you where it's supposed to go. So make sure you hold everything in place. Okay, so here we go again. So this is another mistake that I'm doing. I forgot that I'm supposed to continue feeding in the braid when I'm done feeding the 10 pieces of braid. So we're gonna see how that gonna look when I'm done doing this line. So you can see I've left this particular braid behind that is gonna confuse me. Yeah, so up to this point, I do hope you get everything right and you are able to rectify the mistake that you've been doing. If you've been braiding messy like this, and I do hope after this video you can do it perfectly. Okay, so here we go again. So you see, when you leave that particular braid behind, it's gonna confuse you, and at this point I've divided that particular braid into two, which is wrong. So here we go again. And when you're feeding in the braid, it's supposed to go under the existing extra line that is always in the middle. So I do hope you can see that again. So I'm almost done with the 10 pieces of braids, and we're gonna see how these are gonna look. Here we go. So again, do not leave the braid behind. It's gonna confuse. It's gonna confuse you. So the first line is all the mistakes that I used to make. There is no tension, picking up large section of hair, and not tightening the braids as I feed in. So you can see how the braids are sits. It's not fresh at all. The base isn't clean, and the braid is sitting on top of the part. So if your braids look like this, don't worry, you're about to see the fix. So up to this point, I do hope you're finding this helpful. Thank you so much for sticking around. And also a special moment to thank you all for the 300k subscribers. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much, guys, for believing in me. Thank you so much for always coming back just to learn something new with me. And yeah, so that really motivates me, and at the same time it keeps me going. So you can see when you doesn't tighten your braid, it's gonna lead to this, and it doesn't look it doesn't look good at all. The line doesn't look fresh. So don't worry, we're gonna correct everything on the second line. Please do give me your attention so that you're gonna correct everything, and after this video you will be braiding perfectly. So don't forget, when it comes to braiding, you need to do more practice so that everything is gonna be smooth. Okay. And also now the second line is the opposite of the first line. I'll just use the same hair, same size, but correcting correcting the technique. So put that in mind, which is proper parting, consistent tension, small pickup of hair from the roots. Okay, and only feeding in hair when I've picked or add natural hair to the existing line. So you're gonna see how it's gonna lay flatter and neater, and this is the kind of braid that levels up your style. Okay. And also, if you are still learning, give yourself grace. Every braider starts with the don't before they master the do's. The key here is to just understand what went wrong and keep practicing, and your next braid will be better than the last one. So let's jump in to the second line, which we're gonna correct our mistake. So here again, I'm gonna divide the hair into 3. Okay. Yeah, so don't forget, when you begin, it's like you're doing the normal braid, but you're gonna join it to the existing line and start feeding in the braid. So This is the hardest part. I'm gonna go slow. Now on this particular line, I'm now putting tension, but don't do it too tight so that you won't hurt your clients. I mean, there won't be too much tension on the scalp. Okay, just do it firmly. So here we go. So I'll braid. So let me repeat it again so that you guys can understand what I'm trying to let you guys learn with me. So here we go. So you hold hair and braid at the same time. Now I'm going to exchange my fingers. This is the hardest part that you need to master. Okay, here we go. Hold the hair tighter, slowly, like that. You can see my thumb is gonna now press the middle part down so that the other section of the hair gonna join the other one on my right hand. So I'll just braid several times and then I'll pick hair from the existing line, and now I'll start to feed in the braid. Okay, so you need to braid it closer to the existing line. Make sure you braid it closer. The first one, I didn't do that. So I do hope you can see it clearly. Now at this point, now you need to hold the hair and now feed in the braid, a very section of hair, and that is how you're gonna have that nice flawless braiding pattern. So here we go. So I'll feed in the first braid. Now my second finger is gonna pick hair now from her scalp. I hope you can see it clearly. Don't forget to pick a very small section of hair as you braid. So here we go. So you'll always have extra line that is joining to the existing natural hair, and here again you need to make sure the braid is it's very tight so that it won't show on top of your line. Here we go again. You can see always the second finger is the one that receives hair from the line and join it to the existing line, and when you're feeding in the braid, it's supposed to go under the existing, under the extra existing braid. I do hope I'm not confusing y'all. So you can see it goes under that extra braid that is joining the natural hair to the existing line. Yeah, so it's just as simple as that. We are just correcting the mistakes that we were doing on the first line, and that is how you will come up with a neat, flawless braiding pattern. And yeah, so it's as simple as that. Nothing is hard. Make sure you do more practice to perfect. Okay, so there we go. Feed in the next braid. Make sure you hold hair and braid at the same time, and that is how I cross my fingers. Now I'll pick the hair. So my right hand gonna pull the hair down so that the second finger from the left side is gonna have space to pick the natural hair and let it join the existing line. to this point, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for following up this with me. I do hope now you can braid confidently and just correct the mistakes that you was doing, and you're gonna have your perfect cornrow just like this one. So it's just, I mean, it's as simple as that. So side to side, you can see the first one looks bulky and messy, and the second one looks smooth and clean. And the only difference is the technique, not the tools, not the braids or her hair. And it's really that simple. So thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this.